Accessing peace. Existing without violence, with the ability to calmly resolve conflict. Downloading love. An overwhelming, deep, positive affection towards others. Activating liberty. Living your life as you see fit without infringing on the lives of others.
Welcome to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. I am your host, Darryl W. Perry, the Liberty Penguin, the Wombat, the uncut cocaine of libertarianism. And, you know, it's been a while since I've really, during an episode, sort of explained what the purpose of the show is, because I seem to just sort of like be all over the place as far as what gets covered. And part of that is because, well, the show has kind of evolved over the years. And let me go to the RSS feed, where you can find that at pll.fppradio.com. That would be the RSS feed specifically for this show, which is one of 3 that I do. One of them has not been coming out regularly, that being the FPP Freedom Minute. It's been about a month since I've put one of those out, and I'm thinking about just completely doing away with the Freedom Minute. I'm not really positive, but, you know, I'm sort of reevaluating a lot of things, partly because, well, you know, like, I've got a lot going on. And whenever I bring on new projects, I don't really get rid of old ones that often. So I might wind up just getting rid of the Freedom Minute altogether. I'm not entirely positive. But again, it's been like a month since one has come out. But the other podcast that I do is a daily. It's a 5-minute newscast. And that's not going away. I have no intentions of that ever going away. I might wind up at some point in the not too distant future. I'm thinking about having Peace, Love, Liberty Radio go to a once weekly instead of twice. Again, no decision yet. Thinking about it. Again, haven't decided. But if I do that, it will either happen at episode 550 or episode 600. That way it's just a nice, even number where that happens instead of just, making a change at episode 539. That's a random number, right? Anyway, this is episode 534. So, again, not too distant future, and I'm considering... And I don't know. Maybe if I wind up doing a once weekly, I might bump it up to an hour length. I might keep it at 30 minutes. Not really sure. But again, if you go to the RSS feed, again, pll.fppradio.com, you will see the description is join Darryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio as he explores topics of self-help, personal growth, and relationships while promoting the ideas of liberty and peaceful interaction. And that's why I have been covering a lot of things dealing with self-help, dealing with achieving goals, setting goals, productivity, creativity. Because I'm trying to sort of fill a niche that seems to be overlooked in the liberty community. To where, there's a bunch of shows. And when I started this one, this show was, here's all the horrible news from the last week. Where I was talking about news of the day stuff. I was, talking about the horrible, horrible things that are being done using your tax dollars to take away your freedoms. But again, the show has morphed over time. And I really think, and I could probably go back through the archives and actually figure out exactly when it was. But it was really about the time that I started getting healthy again, that I decided that I wanted to tweak the way, or rather tweak the focus of the show. So that's a little backstory on what the show is about and sort of the hows and the whys. And one thing that is super important, and it's not just important because, somebody said it's important. No, there are actually studies that show that sleep and a good night's sleep is important. And there was an episode that I did. I don't remember when. Again, I could go through the archives and figure it out, and I might wind up doing that and then putting the link in the show notes, where I talked about the study that was done saying people that get 4 hours of sleep perform on test about the same as people who have not gotten any sleep in 3 days. But what about the people who do wind up getting a full night's sleep? And I kind of fall in this category, although, defining full night's sleep is going to be a little bit of a loose interpretation in my case, because, well, yeah, I might wind up getting 8.5 hours sleep over a 9-hour period, but I'm waking up several times during the night. And most of the time when I wake up, I don't feel rested. And so when I saw this headline, 11 reasons you might be tired after sleeping well, I was like, I've got to read this. And again, sleeping well can mean different things to different people. Could mean that you got, quote unquote, enough sleep, but it wasn't good sleep. It could mean that maybe you slept like a rock. You just out. And yes, I know rocks don't sleep, but that's more accurate than saying sleeping like a baby, because babies generally don't sleep the whole way through the night. So let's talk about it. Why are you still tired? Why is Darryl still tired after sleeping? We'll talk about it coming up here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
In 2115 New England, there are no borders, no states, and no regulations, yet never has a more peaceful and prosperous place existed. But Mr. Drake's security company has seen better days. Faced with the prospect of waning power, Mr. Drake intends to replace the anarchy of New England with a government. But at what cost? Will anybody care? And can anyone stop him? Anarchy in New England by Joe Jarvis is available from Amazon.com and all major bookstores.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at weusecoins.com. That's weusecoins.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio with Darryl W. Perry. Online at fppradio.com.
Welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. Online at fppradio.com. Before jumping into the article, I've got a question for you. Are you an advocate for free market money? Do you use and promote Bitcoin as an alternative in a fiat-centric world? If so, then you need Spendabit in your arsenal. Spendabit is a search engine for things you can buy with Bitcoin. Spendabit has aggregated millions of products. Yes, that's right, millions. Last time I took a look, they had well over 3 million products listed on the site. And all of those things you can buy with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Keep your money in the free economy. Spend a bit. Use my affiliate link, spendabit.fppradio.com. And if you're a Bitcoin accepting merchant like I am, ask about their merchant suite to reach even more customers. Spendabit.fppradio.com. That's spendabit.fppradio.com. Now, let's jump into the article. And yes, the link will be in the show notes where you can read it at your leisure. The author here begins, a good night's sleep is supposed to leave you feeling rejuvenated, refreshed, and wide awake. But what if it doesn't? If you've gotten the recommended amount of sleep, it's extra frustrating to start to feel worn down and exhausted a few hours into the day. Unfortunately, it happens all too often, and the cause isn't always easy to pinpoint. The reasons you might be tired even after sleeping well can vary from easily preventable to something more serious that requires a visit to a doctor. Typically, experts say that adults need between 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night to get energy and stay healthy. But it is possible to get that amount of sleep every single night and still feel sleepy the next day. Now, the article here mentions about people that are feeling tired a couple hours after waking up. For me, it's the first couple of hours. I'm just groggy and I don't feel as though, most of the time, I don't feel as though I am rested. And it takes me a while to actually wind up waking up. And then by mid-afternoon, I'm good. And then most of the time, I'll start getting tired, but as soon as I lay in bed, it's almost like my brain says, yeah, you're not sleeping now. And I know that I'm not the only person that winds up going through this. Continuing on with the article, it says, feeling exhausted for seemingly no reason can often point to a whole bunch of other health issues, whether it's something mental or physical. There might also be something you're doing before bed that isn't letting you sleep as well as you thought. You might think you just had some great shut-eye, but you may not have been as deeply asleep as it seemed. So what could be behind all of this? Here are a few reasons you're tired even after sleeping well. And again, they're using the term sleeping well to mean getting the recommended amount of sleep. They have 11 reasons here. Number one is you're not moving around enough during the day. A lot of people associate physical activity with exhaustion, but that's not always the case. While an intense sweat session at the gym can help you sleep better, it's not going to drain you of energy completely. In fact, not incorporating any physical activity in your day will make you even more tired. According to Science Alert, doing light exercise just a few times a week can leave you more energized. Regular movement helps your body work better overall, and over time, it helps you feel more awake. Number 2. If you're always tired, even after getting the recommended amount of sleep, you might be dehydrated. Being dehydrated can do more than just make you feel lightheaded and dizzy. It can also make you feel really, really tired. Being dehydrated messes with your blood volume, which can make your heart less efficient, leading to exhaustion over time. Number 3, something more serious and not as easy to fix as drinking a glass of water to solve that dehydration. You might actually be depressed. One of the common symptoms of depression is exhaustion. This mental disorder can leave you feeling tired all the time, no matter how much sleep you get. People often don't realize they're depressed until they realize how sleepy they are. Healthline says people with depression often feel very tired and aren't interested in doing any activity regardless of the task or the required amount of effort. Pay attention to how you're feeling, and if you think depression could be the reason, consider seeing a therapist. Number 4, and this is one that seems to be contrary to what sort of common wisdom would have you believe. Number 4 on the list of reasons you might be tired even after getting the proper amount of sleep. You had a glass of wine before bed. Have you ever poured yourself a glass of wine at night to relax, unwind, and help yourself fall asleep? Probably. Some people do it all the time. While wine will make you feel sleepy, it doesn't actually work in the end. Medical doctor Alan Tofig? I'm not really sure how to pronounce this last name. He's a medical director of New York Neurology and Sleep Medicine in New York City, says it's ultimately sabotage, or rather it ultimately sabotages the sleep maintenance, that being having a glass of wine or other alcoholic beverage to help you fall asleep. Now, on the opposite end of the having things to drink spectrum, maybe during the day, you had too much coffee. Yeah, number 5 on the list of 11 reasons you might be tired even after getting the proper amount of sleep. Too much caffeine. If you're drinking coffee as much as 6 hours before bedtime, that will affect your sleep even if you don't realize it. Coffee is meant to keep you awake and energized, but too much, too late in the day will backfire. Science Alert says it will mess with your adenosine production, making it harder to go to sleep. Besides, studies have shown that caffeine actually messes with your circadian rhythm. Stay tuned. There's more here on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
It is the year 91,001 BCE. Witness humanity's origins in Hyperchronius, a classic role-playing game for Windows PCs, with a story like no other game before. A liberty-oriented experience that is not to be missed. Go to zog.ninja to get your copy of Hyperchronius today. Use the code FPP to get $1 off. Hyperchronius, zog.ninja, code FPP.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. Fans are friends, allies, and numerary supporters. Fans help FPP afford to produce more original content. You can join the Fans program for as little as $3 per month through Patreon and get perks like ad-free versions of FPP Radio News and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com. That's fans.fppradio.com.
This is Will Coley of the Call to Freedom, and you're listening to Darryl W. Perry on Peace, Love, Liberty Radio.
Hey, welcome back to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com. Going over a list of 11 reasons you might be tired even after getting the recommended amount of sleep, which is 7 to 9 hours per night. Number 6 on the list, you spend too much time on your phone. You've likely heard the warning before, but it's worth repeating. Stay off your phone before bed. Maybe, just maybe, you're checking all of your crypto asset prices. Maybe you're worried that some of your cryptos are going up and others are going down, or they're not going up fast enough, or they're going down too fast, or something. Well, just stop worrying about the crypto price. Yeah, I know it's easier said than done, but, I see way too many people, and yes, this is definitely a tangent, but I see way too many people that look at cryptocurrency solely as an investment vehicle and not as a currency. Currency is in the name cryptocurrency. And I'm a big supporter of using cryptocurrency as currency. And wouldn't it be great if maybe you could find a better cryptocurrency, one that, unlike, and I realize that, Bitcoin's good, But there are some flaws with Bitcoin and with most cryptocurrencies. And right now, I don't know if there is any cryptocurrency that is what I would consider to be, quote-unquote, perfect. But Zencash comes very close, very, very close to what I would consider to be my perfect cryptocurrency. Zencash has end-to-end encryption using zero-knowledge technology. And it's not just a cryptocurrency. They also allow for communications and data to be securely transmitted and stored. And they now have over 8,500 secure nodes, which makes Zencash one of the most distributed secure node systems of any cryptocurrency. And it's not just a platform for cryptocurrency, but also communications. And it was built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. And the Zencash wallet is available for multiple platforms. We're talking Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. So let's get back into the article here. 11 reasons you might be tired even after getting the right amount of sleep. And yes, I know the headline says sleeping well, but just because you get 7 to 9 hours of sleep doesn't mean that you slept well. Again, number 6 is you spend too much time on your phone. They say you should stay away from all electronic devices, including your television, for about an hour. I've heard some people say half hour to an hour before you go to bed. The blue screens, like the ones on a smartphone, can trigger a wake-up hormone, even when you're about to go to sleep for the night. Again, you might not realize it's messing with your rest, but it could be keeping you from getting a deep enough sleep, and that will leave you tired the next day. Number 7 on the list of reasons you might be tired even after getting the appropriate amount of sleep is you didn't eat breakfast. You've always heard many, many times, but really you should eat breakfast. According to health.com, the food you eat fuels your body, and when you sleep, your body continues using what you consume at dinner the night before to keep your blood pumping and oxygen flowing. So when you wake up in the morning, you need to refuel with breakfast. If you skip it, you will feel sluggish. Now, there are all kinds of theories, and yes, I'm going to say theories, on how people should eat. And what do I mean by that? Well, some people say that, and I'm not going to get into all the many different diets, but the times of day at which people eat. Some people say that you should eat a bunch of small meals throughout the day. Somewhere between like 4 to 7 meals a day. I've heard people say up to 9. Or at least 9 times. Some of those things could just be snacks between the larger things that they are calling small meals. Other people subscribe to the intermittent fasting theory, to where you wind up putting all of your food consumption in, say, an 8-hour period, and then you go 16 hours without food. And yet other people say, no, eat 1 meal a day and have it be a large meal at the end of the day. Other people say, no, you eat 3 meals, but the large meal should be the first meal of the day. I'm not going to get into which of those is the right one. But for me personally, I will have a smoothie in the mornings. And I put things in there that wind up giving me all of my servings of fruits and vegetables for the day, and then extra stuff where I use like actual juice and things, and I am good for several hours. And then I'll eat, sort of what most people would consider to be some kind of snack for lunch, and then a slightly larger snack type thing for supper. Yeah, I don't really eat cooked meals, and I know that's not the best thing, but, it's a theory, and it works for me. So figure out what works for you, and stay tuned. There's more.
This is Darryl W. Perry, host of Free Talk Live. This November, I'll be running in the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, and I've accepted a spot on Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. Since 1989, 353 people in the United States have been exonerated by DNA testing, including 38 who pled guilty to crimes they did not commit, and 20 of whom served time on death row. The Innocence Project provided direct representation or critical assistance in 180 of these cases. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of Team Innocence Project, I am raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fees. However, to secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon, I need to raise $3,500 by November 1st. You can support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to Peace, Love, Liberty Radio, online at fppradio.com.
We've got to rush through. We've got 4 more things on the list here of 11 reasons you might be tired even after getting the appropriate amount of sleep. Not going to recap the first 7, but number 8 on the list is that you might have some sort of deficiency. If you're not eating enough iron, an iron deficiency can make you feel tired and weak all the time. You might also be low on vitamin B, which converts food into energy. Without it, you could feel extra sleepy. You might also have a magnesium deficiency, which can mess with your blood glucose levels and leave you feeling lethargic. Number 9, you might be anxious. They say depression isn't the only mental disorder that can mess with your sleepiness. So can anxiety. Stress and anxiety go hand in hand in ensuring you'll feel less energetic and more lethargic, no matter how much sleep you get. It can make you more restless, or rather, it can make your sleep more restless, causing you to wake up more and not fall into the deep sleep that you need. It can just leave you feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. You might need to talk to a therapist. Number 10 is, well, there might be something more serious with your health. Sometimes the issue of being tired could be a sign of something more serious like diabetes, thyroid disorder, or anemia. Anemia can also make you feel weak and short of breath and is typically caused by an iron deficiency, blood loss, or even something like cancer or kidney failure. Meanwhile, one major sign of both thyroid disease and diabetes is exhaustion. If your exhaustion goes on for more than a week, you might want to consider seeing a doctor. And finally, on the list here of 11 reasons you might be tired even after getting the proper amount of sleep, you might actually have a sleep disorder. Of course, the issue could be the way you're sleeping. Michael Decker, Ph.D., a sleep specialist and associate professor at Case Western School of Nursing, says that sleep inertia may be to blame. If you're trying all sorts of tips to feel less tired and none of them are working, it's worth checking for a sleep disorder. Again, the link will be in the show notes. You can read it at your leisure. And, you know, I'm beginning to wonder if maybe the reasons that I feel tired in the morning is, yeah, I do after I lay in bed. Oh, one last time, let me check my emails, check on the Facebooks, clear off my Twitter notifications, because I don't like the little notification thing to be there, so I've got to clear them off all the time. That's fine, you can still tweet at me. And don't forget, every Friday, I answer your questions. Send those to me, ama.fppradio.com.
The podcasts of FPP Radio are licensed under Copy Heart. We believe that copying is a form of flattery and do not abide by the copyright laws. Those laws serve to restrict the flow of ideas which no one can really own. Copying is an act of love. love is not subject to law. If you enjoy the show, consider joining the Fans program and get perks like ad-free versions of Peace, Love, Liberty Radio and FPP Radio News, and also get a copy of the monthly newspaper FPP News. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.